bill which is a part of a far wider anti-gender, anti-LGBT attack on human rights, which is a campaign which is international and is largely put forward, but not exclusively, by national conservatives and Christian nationalists. The noble Lord Moylan, in his introduction, said two things, both of which I think have subsequently been shown to be not true. This bill is neither modest, nor is it not about abortion. It's far from that. It has got it's an unprecedented government interference in the ethics and practices of abortion care. It seeks to circumvent expert clinical guidelines because of not another body of clinical evidence, but an ideological disagreement with the conclusions of the work of the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. And I should say to noble lords opposite, the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists is duty-bound to provide evidence-based clinical guidelines. And in doing so, to think that they would do that without talking to anaesthetists and other relevant professionals, I think is to do that college a great disservice. This bill comes as it does. This bill, as it does, focused solely on fetus and saying nothing about the rights of women, is from the same stable that has brought similar legislation about in states of America such as Arizona, Kansas and North Carolina, and absolutely is a precursor to further legislation which will limit and outlaw abortion in full. I think that setting up a committee in this way, which has no remit to consider the rights of women or their experiences and their healthcare, speaks volumes about the real motivation behind this legislation. And I have to say to noble lords opposite and noble lords on the cross benches, who have repeatedly drawn parallels with the use of analgesia in animal scientific experimentation, they have ignored the fact that in this bill we are talking about fetuses which are carried within the bodies of women who are sentient beings, and who are capable of expressing expressing not only their own healthcare but that of others. This has been presented as being a method by which we can get to objective evidence. It's nothing of the sort, my lords. This is about setting up a committee to consider selective evidence which, I put it to the noble lord, will inevitably lead towards a diminution of women's rights. I would say, my lords, far from being humane, I think this bill has got a considerable scope for unintended consequence. The threats to women, not just during pregnancy, but also during childbirth, were this to go ahead, are considerable, because we've already seen that throughout the United States, in states where these sorts of measures have been introduced. My lords, I would put it to you that this is a bill that does pretty well the opposite of what has been claimed for it. It is actually about picking and choosing selective evidence in order to lead down a path, as it has been in Alabama, towards the complete abolition of abortion. It's a Trojan horse, my lords. I really hope that we will not be fooled, that we will put this in the context of that wider campaign against women's rights and against human rights.
Order. Sorry, could I just ask my noble friend,